Handyman Dave here, coming to you with a drainage problem we have. Due to some gutter and some sloping issues, we're getting water in this window well. As you can see, the water line is about 3 inches up the glass. The water comes through the window, down the wall, puddles up here, and then essentially runs all the way through here towards the drain in the basement. So we're going to see what we can do to stop that from happening. This is the window well. As you can see, it's had quite a bit of water in it. You can see from the outside. There's also a problem with the slope. See if I can back up here and show it to you. There's a slight downslope towards the house, and so we're gonna try to solve this problem in a couple of different ways. I'm going to regrade away from the house. That'll help. I'm going to put something to block up where this extender has been added to the window well, so that the water doesn't just run along the side of the basement and into the window well. I'm also going to install a sump pump that I want to make out of a 5-gallon bucket and a sump pump in here, just in case it does flood again. And then there are some issues with the gutter here, not accommodating the amount of water that's coming through. Basically, whenever I've found that there is water in the basement, a water problem is something to do with the way the water is not evacuating from the house properly. Either it's a gutter issue or a downspout issue. Here it is coming out of the front drive. It comes out far enough to where the drive catches it and moves it away from the house. So the challenge, one of the challenges with a gutter that has a gutter helmet on it, and you can see this has a nice cover on it that's worked really well. It's a solid surface cover. The water is supposed to come around it and through friction fall back down into the gutter, and it's worked well. It's probably 10 years old and I've had no maintenance issues. I am going to check out here and see whether or not I've got a backup that has happened somehow. So I'm going to check and make sure it's flowing right. You can tell, by the way, there's some discoloration on the gutter here that the water is running over the edge here, coming down to this area that's got a slope issue towards the house. So this is the valley that's creating the problem. It does come down into a perforated piece of the gutter helmet. So I thought perhaps that this wasn't perforated, but that's not the problem. So I'm going to have to figure out how to slow the water down. One of the first things I want to do here is to make sure that we're getting proper flow through the gutters as they sit now. And so I'm going to squirt this up here and see how the water runs down the valley and whether or not it's going into the gutter or it's going over the gutter. So we'll just simulate a little rainstorm here and see if we can't get close enough to tell how the water is flowing in there, which doesn't look like we have a very good shot of that. So this gives you a little bit of an angle. You can see the water coming down the valley there, and then I can see it trickling out right here. So it's coming out at about the same rate we're putting it in. So these are the parts that we're going to use to build the sump pump and put it in the window well. We got a 1/4 horsepower Wayne sump pump. It's got an automatic switch on because I didn't want to worry about the float mechanism in there. This is a check valve which I purchased. I went ahead and got a new bucket from Lowe's with a top, and I bought some hose that will allow me to send it out to where you saw the gutter flowing out into the driveway. So I tested the pump out, and it works well. It almost works too well because it pumps so much water that it just takes a few seconds to get it back to its minimum level. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work, but it's a backup system, and 99% of the time it is not going to be on. So the plan here is to drill holes in the bucket so that water can get in pretty freely, both the sides, the bottom, and the top. And then to wrap the bucket in this porous landscape fabric, which then will, as you can see, allow the water to get in. And then between the hole that's dug and the bucket with fabric around it, I'll put some rock to catch the larger debris. So this gives you a good idea of how I did the holes. I just took a drill with a large bit on it, put holes in the top, the bottom, and the sides. Now I'm going to put the landscape fabric on it. This is what it looks like with the landscape fabric on it. You can see I've got it all the way around. I've also got it on the bottom. I used some plastic electrical tape because I find that it has a lot of durability. Now I'm going to test it out. So what I'm trying to do here is just fill up this tub with the landscape fabric on it to see whether or not we're getting the porous flow through here of the water, and it looks like the water is rising about the same as it is in the sink. So that means that we are the landscape fabric is letting it flow through, which is the goal here. Okay, so now we have the landscape fabric on the top with the holes. You can see I fed the tubing out that will evacuate the water, and I also put the cord through the same holes. It's snug fit, nothing's going to get through there. Got this down on the bottom ready to go, and we're getting ready to seal it up. So here's what it looks like when it's kind of sitting in the window well. I've gone ahead and hooked it up just in case we had another one of those torrential rains, which is not forecast. But you can also see there's a drain that goes into the drain tiles which run underneath the house. Now, for some reason this wasn't keeping up with the volume of rain we had, and it was an amazing rain in a short amount of time. That could have been it. I cleaned it out, and it seems to accept water pretty well, but not fast. So we're just going to use this kind of as belt and suspenders. I'll probably leave it here like this and see what happens in the coming rains. I might sink it in a little bit, but that's today's project. Handyman Dave, over and out.